Hey there, welcome to the Movie Review Mom YouTube channel. My goal is to give you the heads up on filmmaking quality and content so that you can make the best decision you can as to whether or not you want to spend time or money or both watching a particular film. So today, the movie I'm reviewing is called Bob Marley, One Love. This inspirational biopic of sorts is now playing in theaters. The film is rated PG-13. It's an hour and 47 minutes. And my overall movie review mom grade is a B. I enjoyed it, but I was hoping it was going to be so much better. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me give you an overview in a nutshell, and then I'll point out things that I liked, things I didn't like. I'll offer tips for parents, themes worth talking about, funny lines, interesting lines, and recommendations for other films that are sort of similar that you might also like, or you might even like better than this one. Ready to dive in? Me too. So, in a nutshell, the story is about how reggae icon Bob Marley overcame adversity and the journey behind his revolutionary music that made the whole world stop and take notice. The film was directed by Ronaldo Marcus Green, and writing credits go to Terrence Winter, Frank E. Flowers, and Zach Balin. So let me give you some quick tips for parents first, in case they're interested. The younger children are definitely going to be bored, but if you have older kids, teenagers that really like reggae, they might be interested. However, there is some content to be aware of. There is smoking of cigarettes and joints, taking drugs, alcohol, violence with blood, and various weapons are used during violent acts. Some of the themes that are illustrated very well are overcoming adversity, the power of music, love and unity, and peace. Of course, love. There were plenty of things I really liked about this movie. First of all, Kingsley Ben-Adir does an excellent job bringing legendary Bob Marley to life. Believe it or not, he had to learn how to play the guitar and sing for this role, and he does an excellent job. Bob Marley's son, Ziggy, was involved in the casting and enthusiastically approved Kingsley Ben-Adir to portray his late father. Great choice. The rest of the cast also does a really great job. It includes Lashana Lynch, Jamie Norton, Tosin Cole, Anthony Welsh, Gawain J. Summa Campbell, and so many more. Michael Gandolfini's presence in the film is surprising but welcome. I had to take a double take. I didn't recognize him. Right after the rolling credits, at the beginning of the movie, we read messages on the screen that give us information about the political upheaval going on in Jamaica at the time. We get to hear some reggae music, of course, and be reminded of Bob Marley's inspirational lyrics. We get to spend some time in Jamaica during the movie. I love traveling in movies, but I've actually been to Jamaica twice. Once on a romantic getaway with my husband, and then later with our four sons when we won a free, all-inclusive, all expenses paid trip there. Yes, people actually win contests like that. It was awesome. It's really fun to learn how the Exodus album specifically was created, since I used to own that album on vinyl. Yeah, I guess I'm that old. Time magazine named Exodus, the album, the best album of the 20th century. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but it definitely is in the top list for sure. I love many of his songs, but as I was thinking about it, I think my favorite Bob Marley song is Coming In From the Cold in his 1991 album, Uprising. I had that album too. I've seen several versions of movie posters for this film, and I honestly like them all. At the end of the movie, we get to see several video clips of the real Bob Marley from his concerts, press conferences, home movies even, and other moments from his life. We also get to read text on the screen that tells us what happened after the events that we see in the movie. Now, with all of that praise, there were just a few things that I didn't like or thought could have been done better or differently. For example, sometimes it's hard to understand exactly what everyone is saying because their Jamaican accents are so thick. I wished I had had subtitles to read so that I wouldn't miss anything, and I definitely missed some stuff. The saddest thing about this movie is knowing that in only a few short years after the events of this movie, Bob Marley died. He was first diagnosed with skin cancer on his toe in 1977 and finally died in 1981 at the young age of only 36. We see him talk about his toe at about the 1 hour mark in the movie. Imagine what amazing songs we could have had if only he had lived longer. A lot of research went into the film. However, a small detail was missed. For example, the scene set in 1977 shows Bob Marley walking around the Jubilee Line interchange of Charing Cross Underground Station in London, which wasn't actually open until 1979. Now, I know that's completely nitpicking details, but I love it when directors and writers really do pay attention to details. And, so that was just a little thing that I noticed because I've been to London. I've been to that interchange, actually. Another thing is that the movie only shows one wife, Rita, but it's known that he cheated on her with numerous women. He and Rita had 3 children, but he fathered about 9, maybe more, from other relationships. It was not a perfect romance. And we do see that they definitely had troubles in the movie itself, but that's not the whole story. Because Bob Marley's family was involved in the production, some of the negative facts about Bob Marley's life were conveniently left out, making the film feel a little too safe. Now, I'm not saying we should trash him because what he did was remarkable. I'm just saying that's some of the content. It would have been fascinating to see the current events overlaid with the lyrics so that we could see his inspiration for the songs that he wrote. Now, when I say current, I mean current during the time. We get a little bit of historical context, but then not as much as I would have liked. That's all I'm saying. Ultimately, true Bob Marley fans, I think, are going to be really glad that this movie was made, but also wish that it could have been so much better because he was so amazing. We have a Cirque du Soleil show with the Beatles music here in Las Vegas. Another one about Michael Jackson, but how about one with Bob Marley music? I think that would be a really great show. What do you think? Comment down below. Now, whenever I watch movies, I take notes, of course, but I write down funny lines and interesting lines just so I can share them with you so you can get a real taste for the dialogue and the script writing quality. Now, when I looked back on my notes, I did not write down any funny lines because this movie is pretty serious. It is a drama. But I did write down quite a few interesting lines, and you can see them all on my written review at moviereviewmom.com. So I'll share some of the interesting lines. For example, Chris Blackwell is the character, but he's played by James Norton, who says, his guitar is his machine gun. Now, there are a lot of analogies of war and music because of the political climate that was happening in Jamaica at the time. And so I thought that that was a really cool line. The wife, Rita Marley, who's played by Lashana Lynch, beautifully, I might add, really struggles in her role as Bob Marley, the famous, successful musician, and she is getting lost in all of that. And at one time she tells him, I have to be a wife and a soldier. Then another really interesting line is when somebody asks Bob Marley after he plays some music, when you write that? And Bob Marley answers, all my life. And you really feel that in his music. It's not just, oh, let me think of some lyrics and some melodies and put them together. It is the tale of his life. And so I love that. Bob Marley says in the movie, you can't separate the music and the message. He was both, for sure. He also says, you see, reggae music coming to unify the people. And I like that. He really believed that. And then there were some other lines, but I'll finish with this one. An interviewer is talking to Bob Marley, and he asks Bob Marley, do you really think this world can make it? And Bob Marley is kind of shocked, and he says, make it? We must make it. And I loved his confidence in the world, even though all around him things were falling apart. All right, so let me give you recommendations for 3 films that I instantly thought of as I was watching this one. The first one is called Get On Up. And by the way, these are all true stories, biopics that earned great acclaim for the actors and the musicians in these movies. Another one is called Ray. That was in 2004. And the last one earned an Academy Award actually for Reese Witherspoon, who did some singing, but I just thought Joaquin Phoenix was fantastic as Johnny Cash. And that movie is Walk the Line. Really, really well done film. All right, that's it. I hope if you watch this movie that you do enjoy it, you take some lessons from it. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.